Hey, YouTube. Long time no see, huh? So it's been interesting. Um, Yesterday I got up and I made myself breakfast and gave myself food poisoning. So yesterday was a washout in more ways than one. Um, but I did get some stuff done today. I had run a few errands, but um, I have put down a covering on the creek. But we're going to talk about today is weathering. And it's one of my favorite things to do when I get frustrated on some other portion of the layout or something. This is what I do because I love it. And I've got a boxcar that I just got new, was on the layout. And there it is, new. And here it is, just lightly weathered, just enough to dull it down a little bit. Um, it's not shiny. It looks like it's got just a little wear and tear like that. Um, there are some though that I go overboard with, like this Lehigh Valley, all nice and white. Looks pretty, doesn't it? It was back in the late '60s, early '70s. Everybody was broke pretty much in the railroads. So I just really took took aim at this and weathered it up a lot. It just is wear and tear. So today we are going to weather this one. Western Maryland, 50 footer. Got the plug door. Uh, Came with metal wheels. I'm going to take uh, the wheels off and put them on my little jig that I've got to paint the rust on the wheels. And I'll paint up the trucks. But we're going to only worry today about the body. And so here we go. Okay, here's what we got. Just the shell. And the very first thing I do is, and a friend of mine taught me about this a long time ago, but just take some isopropyl alcohol, 70%, no more than that. Don't do 90 or you're just going to mess it all up. But I always have some India ink around, and I've had that bottle forever. But anyway, um, I bought this bottle, put in like about 8 to 10 drops of India ink in it, shake it up a little bit, but it stays in solution pretty much. And I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to put this over here so we don't get it all messy. And I just start with this. This will dull it down and kind of just leave some dark marks, where there's lines and things. And go like this. And this dries pretty quick. I mean, it's alcohol, so no big deal. You just don't want to get this all over you. This looks really bad now, okay? But it's not going to look like this after it dries. No. No. Nice rubber glove because India ink is like a tattoo, almost permanent. But you can get it at, you know, Hobby Lobby. I got a small bottle that I've had forever because a little goes a long, long ways. So all we got to do now is this one end and then let it dry. And then I'll be back. Okay, so all dried up. See how it fills in those lines on the roof. And, you know, leaves it, dulls it down, although with this bright light on it, it isn't as dull, but it's a little bit better. So I don't use an airbrush. I've got one and I use it for certain things, but I don't do it for weathering cars. Right there's what I use. These were bought in the 80s and I still have them. You can tell which ones I use the most. Eventually I'm going to have to buy some more. But this to me is the best weathering that there is. I screwed up a lot of cars, you know, back in the 80s when I was trying to do the airbrush because everybody else was doing the airbrush. But really, I just take a hobby knife and just shave some of this powder off. And this light brown is where I'm going to start with, right over here. Kind of a hard bristle. I can say it. Brush, but this really, really gets rid of the shine. A little bit more over here. Take a little black over here too. On the stairs there. The ladder. Now I'm going to spray this with a matte coating. And a lot of what is on here now isn't going to show up, but it will show up some. And then, well, we'll get to that here in a little bit. I just take some different colors. Like up here. Over here. All right. And then we'll take, I like to use this dark orange because it's great for roofs. Roofs get faded and, you know, like some of the primer that they put on shows through. And it also is like rust. So, you know, now I got some dark brown next to this. I'll take this and just randomly pick a panel, any panel, and put that on there. Now a lot of this will stick even after the matte spray. You know, I don't do it, you know, with a big nasty coat. It's just enough to keep this on there and dull it down some. Take some of the darker for rust. And I don't know how well this is going to work on video, but It really works well. I'll take some of this and shove it up, because that's where the rest starts anyway. I need to get a little rusty here. And brush it down. And this is all just random stuff. And I'm not counting like how many spaces in between all this. But the roof really, I mean, we're always looking down at it. You know, when a train passes you, you don't really get to see the roof, but the roofs get nasty. All right, so I'm just going to take some of this light and go down. Get some of the black around the door. Rust. Just go in, do a quick spray job, and it dries really pretty quick. I mean, I just give it a few minutes and I grab it and bring it back out here, because I can do some more and it'll stay to that and won't be coming off in your hands. So, see you in a minute. We're back. I literally do this in like 3 minutes. I want to get everything set up. I start a 3-minute timer within my watch, and just keep going. So you see, it's not as powdery looking right now, but while it's dry enough to touch, but we ain't done yet. We're gonna put a little bit more on and do some more highlights. Ah, yeah. And if you use, like I use Krylon matte finish, and it dries. It says on the bottle, it dries in minutes. What I found is, and the reason I stick with that, is this stuff is pretty much going to stay on there, and my fingerprints are going to be on it. Nothing like that. So here's where I want to redo some of that right there.
So you just go ahead and see that.
So we got rust streaks, okay, and Vallejo, orange rust, that's like brand new rust. Don't use this very often, but I thought I'd point it out. Put that down. There we go. I'm doing this just because you don't do it on everyone, but just a fine brush. And like where this door comes sliding back over here, there's a lot of rust around places like that. And then like these rivets down here. And then you could use a little bit of that orange if you wanted to, as that starts to keep rusting down there. Same thing on this edge. Flip this around. So anyway, this is the way I do it. Not saying it's the best way. I just think it looks the best of what I can do. If you're a great artist and you know you're great with an airbrush and or a paintbrush or whatever, um, I wish I had your talent, but I don't. So that's that for this episode. Other than I will appreciate you guys a lot. Subscribe, like, all that kind of good stuff, and I'll see you here again soon.